Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all in this session of Prelims Connect at the KSG YouTube channel. Okay. In the last 4 days, we have discussed some of the questions from Indian geography section. We have talked about physiography, drainage, soil type also, vegetation type also. And last day also I told you that today we are going to discuss some of the concepts from the agriculture, some of the questions from the agriculture. Okay. And we have got certain questions with you. So let's see these questions and let's see how we can solve them. Okay. Some of the questions have been easy and some of them have been tricky also. Okay. So let us analyze how we can go about solving them. Okay. See here. The first question is very much direct in nature. I have taken a first simple question to start with. Among the following, which one is the least water efficient crop? Out of these four, sugarcane, sunflower, pearl millet and red gram, which is the least water efficient crop? It means if we are talking about these crops, then which one will be having least efficiency? Whether it will be sugarcane or it will be sunflower, pearl millet or red gram. Okay. Can anyone tell me this? What would be the answer for this one? This is very much simple here. This is quite simple question. We can easily see this one. Anyone who would like to answer this? What would be the answer for this one? See, I have got one answer as sunflower. Okay, anyone else? I have got one answer as B, sunflower. Anyone else having any other answer? See, out of these four you have to tell. I have got two answers as B only. Anyone else having any other answer? See, out of these, like this has been a question of the last year, but if you see generally, if you see the most intensive, like most rainwater intensive crop or most irrigation intensive crop, you have names of certain crops like paddy is there, sugarcane is also there. Okay, so paddy and sugarcane are considered to be very much intensive, water intensive crop. Okay, if we look at the sugarcane, then you can see that it requires something around 1500 to 2500 mm of rainfall or water to complete the growth cycle. Okay. So then there is a greater chance that sugarcane is using more amount of water in comparison to this sunflower or all other crops. Okay. Because sugarcane has a sugarcane requires around 1500 to 2500 mm of water. Okay. And due to that reason, we can see that like even for just getting 1 kg of sugarcane, we are having around 1500 to 3000 liters of water consumption. Okay. So due to that reason, we can see that sugarcane is more water intensive in comparison to the other crops which are found. Okay. So due to that, we can have this answer as A in this case, that sugarcane will be the more water intensive crop in comparison to the other ones. The sunflower, pearl millet, red gram, they considerably take less amount of this water also. You can see one other dimension of it. Okay, like when we are talking about this sunflower or pearl millet or red gram, you can see that these crops are generally cultivated in those areas where we are having less amount of rainfall. Whereas when we are talking about the sugarcane, they are grown in more water intensive or irrigation intensive areas. Like you can see, we can see that it is mostly cultivated in parts of Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, some portions of Gujarat also, Haryana, Uttarakhand and Punjab. Okay. So these are the areas. So the question is asking least water efficient, means which is using more amount of water. If a crop is more water efficient, it means it is using less amount of water and producing more amount of goods for us, more amount of produce for us. Least water efficient, it is not asking about least water use, it is asking about the efficiency. Okay. If a crop is using less water, it means its efficiency is more. It is asking least water efficient. Okay, means which is using more water and producing less. You can see in this that it is using around 1500 to 3000 liters of water and then giving us 1 kg of sugar cane. Okay. So due to that, it will be considered as least water efficient. Efficiency is low. Okay. It is using more water and producing less. Okay. Then see the second question. How is permaculture farming different from conventional chemical farming? Okay. So after this question, after this first question of one liner, what we have seen, majority of the question which we are having from the agriculture section, they are having 2 or 3 or 4 statements. Okay. Last day also I told you, if you are having 2, 3 or 4 statements, solving the questions becomes a matter of a skill now. Okay. So let us apply the skill on this question. See the first statement. It is saying that permaculture farming discourages monocultural practices, but in conventional chemical farming, monocultural practices are predominant. Okay. Second is saying conventional chemical farming can cause increase in soil salinity, but the occurrence of such phenomena is not observed in permaculture farming. Okay. Third is saying conventional chemical farming is easily possible in semi-arid regions, but permaculture farming is not so easily possible in such regions. Okay. And the fourth is practice of mulching is very much important in permaculture farming, but not necessary in conventional one. Okay. So can you tell me, in this question, this is having 3 or 4 statements, can you tell me what would be the correct answer here? What can be the correct answer in this question? Anyone? See, when we see these statements, see the first one, it is saying that permaculture farming discourages monocultural practices. Now, understand here, when we are talking about permaculture, permaculture is following the natural farming practices or natural growth of vegetation, means the manner in which the natural vegetation is growing. If you look at a natural vegetation growth, it is not that only one type of crop or only one type of plants are growing. It supports the growth of a large number of plants at the same time. Okay. So first statement is true that permaculture farming is discouraging the monoculture. Rather than that, permaculture has its second name, which is called as polyculture. Okay. Permaculture is also known as polyculture, means having many crops at the same time. Okay. Simultaneous growth of many crops. Okay. So permaculture is encouraging this permaculture is discouraging the monocultural practices and encouraging polycultural. Okay. Whereas in conventional chemical farming, like you can see, we are having cultivation of just like rice, paddy at one time. Okay. So that first statement is true. Second, see this. Conventional chemical farming can cause increase in soil salinity, but the occurrence of such phenomena is not observed in permaculture. Okay. Again true. Since it is following the natural order of things, it is not focused too much of high irrigation and too much of high chemical use. Okay. So even second statement is correct. Okay. Now third is saying conventional chemical farming is easily possible in semi-arid regions. Now you know that in semi-arid regions, doing conventional chemical farming is not very much possible because you need a lot of irrigation, a lot of fertilizers and other things, and the yield is also low. But when we talk about the permaculture, it is following the natural things. So in case of permaculture, we can have growth in even semi-arid regions. Okay. So third statement is incorrect, while fourth is correct. Again, it is a natural practice. Mulching is like covering this entire area with stubbles and all. Okay. So that fourth is correct. So due to that, our answer should be B here. First is correct, second is also correct, and fourth is correct. Only the third has to be eliminated. And due to that, Our answer should be B, 1, 2 and 4 only. Okay. Now, see, if we talk about the third question, okay, I know that the questions in in agriculture are a bit tough, okay, but try to see them. If you understand the pattern once, it will be much more easier to solve these questions. Okay, see this question. What are the advantages of fertigation in agriculture? Fertigation means when you mix fertilizers with the irrigation process, it is called as fertigation. Okay, so combined practice of irrigation plus fertilizer supply is called as fertigation. Okay, so can you tell me, here we have 4 statements again. First is controlling the alkalinity of irrigation water is possible. Second is efficient application of rock phosphate and all other phosphatic fertilizer is possible. Third is increased availability of nutrients to plant is possible. And fourth is reduction in the leaching of chemical nutrients is possible. Okay. Now see this. What does this fertigation means? Fertigation simply means we are combining the fertilizers with irrigation. Okay. So in that case, there is a normal thing that the efficiency of fertilizers will increase. Okay. So there is one thing here, increased availability of nutrients to plant is possible. So 3 must be correct. Okay. So if we go by that logic, if 3 is correct, then we can eliminate this B option. Okay. Then again, we can see that reduction in the leaching of chemical nutrients is possible. When we are using excessive amount of chemical fertilizers and when we are using too much of irrigation also, in that case, there is leaching of the chemicals. But when we are mixing these two together, then there is an added advantage that leaching will be also reduced. Okay. So 4 is also correct. So from here, A and B can be easily eliminated because in B there is no mention of this third option, and in A there is no mention of this fourth option. So option A and B can be eliminated on the basis of that. Okay. Now here are 2 things which requires more specific knowledge. Okay. Now if we go by this, rock phosphates are not easily soluble in water. Okay. So here it is saying that efficient application of rock phosphate and all other phosphatic fertilizer. It is taking this to extreme level, all. Okay. So all other phosphatic fertilizer, it went to that extreme level. So from there, you can eliminate this second option. When you eliminate the second option, you automatically get that your option will be C, 1, 3 and 4 only. Okay. So yes, many of you have given the correct answer that yes, it will be C only. Okay. That is correct. So this is what we have to keep in mind, that how we can solve the questions by analyzing the different statements. Okay. Now, if we look at generally fertigation, this is a method of fertilizer application that I told you where it is incorporated with the irrigation water. Okay. In this system, fertilizer is distributed evenly in irrigation. Okay. So there will be more availability, okay, more efficiency and less leaching of the nutrients. Okay. The availability of nutrient is very high, therefore efficiency is more. Okay. Then you can see application of super phosphorus through fertigation must be avoided as it makes precipitation of phosphate salts, plus rock phosphate is also not soluble in water generally. Okay. So due to these factors, the second was incorrect. Okay. Then see, again we have one question. What are the advantages of zero tillage in agriculture? What can be the possible advantages of it? Okay. First one, we are seeing that sowing of wheat is possible without burning the residue of the previous crop. Okay. Second statement is saying without the need for nursery of rice saplings, direct planting of paddy seeds in the wet soil is possible. Third is saying carbon sequestration in the soil is possible. Okay. So three options have been given and you have to choose that. In case of zero tillage agriculture, zero tillage means where we are not tilling the land, okay, and we are simply going for crop production. We are having minimum tillage of the land. In that case, what can be the possible advantages? Okay. So can you tell me what can be the possible advantages of this? If we are talking about the first one, sowing of wheat is possible without burning the residue of the previous crop. Okay, this is one thing which you can commonly find that yes, it will be true. Okay, because if we talk about the sowing of wheat, okay, wheat doesn't requires too much of tillage also. Okay, it can be simply thrown like seeds in the field and it can easily grow. So one has to be correct. Okay, then if we find that one has to be correct, then we have got two options here, A and D only. Okay, B and C can automatically be eliminated. This sowing of wheat can simply be done in any open field without even tillage, and then also it can grow. Okay, so that was the one common option which you can get. Like you have seen in the case of this Punjab and Haryana, it has been said that you have to simply cut down the straw, just let it be there in the field, and even if you sow the seeds after that, it can easily grow. Okay, so stubble burning is discouraged and said that you have to simply cut it down, provide it as a cover on the ground. There also you can have the growth of the wheat. Okay, so this is possible in zero tillage also. Okay, now when you eliminate that, you have only one option, A 1 and 2, and D is 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now see the third option. Carbon sequestration in the soil is possible. Okay, carbon sequestration is the process of capturing or storing the carbon dioxide or carbon into the soil. Okay, when we are storing the carbon into the soil, it is called as carbon sequestration. Now think about this. In zero tillage, we are using like the stubble and all other things. We are simply cutting down and we are mixing it with soil. Stubble is basically of carbon only. So here what we are doing this carbon sequestration only in the ground. There is less release of carbon dioxide from these fields. Okay, so as a result of that, carbon sequestration is possible. So 3 has to be there. Okay, now if you apply that, you have only one option left. Okay, you have only one option left, that is D only. Okay, so here the answer would be D, that is 1, 2 and 3. You don't have to even think about this, that without the need for nursery of rice sapling, direct planting of paddy seed in the wet soil is possible or not. Okay, if you just focus on 1 and 3 and if you look at the options, you can easily get the answer. Okay, so see, some amount of content and some amount of skill is required to solve the question. Okay, so that is one thing which you will have to keep in mind, that content plus a skill, information plus a skill can help you in solving these questions. Okay, then see this, these are certain advantages, like advantages of zero tillage. You can see here, reduction in crop duration, reduction in cost of input, residual moisture can be utilized, dry matter and organic matter can be added. Okay, here you can see environmentally safe, greenhouse effect will get reduced due to carbon sequestration. Okay, so this is something which has been given as the benefit of zero tillage by the government itself. Okay, if you look at government websites also, like if you go through the website of Vikaspedia, okay, there you will find this advantages of zero tillage agriculture, and there itself you will find this line that it helps in carbon sequestration. Okay, so if you look at this, you can easily get the answer. Okay, and then other important things are also there. Okay, now so this is our zero tillage. There is one more question, that is system of rice intensification of cultivation in which alternate wetting and drying of rice field. Watch this question, read this question very much carefully and you can get the answer. Okay, system of rice intensification of cultivation in which alternate wetting and drying of rice field is practiced results in. Okay, first one is reduced seed requirement, second is reduced methane production, third is reduced electricity consumption, and then you have to tell which of them are correct. Okay, so this is one easy question. Carbon sequestration is the process of storing the carbon, capturing the carbon and storing it in the ground, or you can say simply terrestrial based ecosystem or aquatic based ecosystem. Carbon can be sequestrated in the ground also, oceanic system also. Okay, like suppose that if the plants are there, what the plants are doing, plants are capturing the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and using that carbon dioxide to make food or to increase their body size. Okay, so what is happening, that carbon which was there in atmosphere, it has been converted into some product of carbon, and now it is in the body of the plant. Okay, if the plant is like settling down in the ground itself, even after its death, if it is not burned, when you are burning it, carbon dioxide will be released, but when you are not burning it, it will be there in the ground only. Okay, it will be decomposing but in a very slow process. Okay, so that will help in carbon sequestration to some extent. Okay, now in this question, system of rice intensification of cultivation, in which alternate wetting and drying of rice field is practiced, what will be the advantages? Reduced seed requirement, reduced methane production, reduced electricity consumption. Okay, see here, I have got answers as B also, A also, C also and D also. So I have got all 4 as answer. Now, if we look at this question, here there is a hint in which alternate wetting and drying of rice field. Okay, alternate wetting and drying of rice field means the rice field will not be submerged with water at all the time, and we know that paddy fields are the major contributor to methane production due to water logging. But when there is alternate wetting and drying, then there won't be methane production. Okay, we have discussed this in previous sessions also. Perhaps we have taken a question about this also, that which of them is the major source of methane production in India, and one of the option was rice field. Okay, so we have seen there that this rice field is contributing to methane emission due to water logging in the fields. But when we are having alternate cycle of wetting and drying, then there won't be water logging. And if there is no such water logging, if there is just moisture, then there will be dominance of the aerobic organism. Okay, so due to that, reduction in methane production will definitely be there. Okay, so first thing is it will help in reduction of methane production. Okay, second thing, reduced electricity consumption. Just get the hint from again here. In the rice fields, in order to irrigate the fields, we are using the electricity. We have to use the electricity to irrigate the field. So due to that factor, we are using high amount of electricity. But here there is alternate wet and dry cycle. So we don't have to keep it waterlogged throughout its cultivation period. Now, due to that, again, electricity demand will reduce. So 2 and 3 are going to be correct. Okay. Third one, system of rice intensification has a very fixed component, that it will use less amount of seeds. The young saplings will be transplanted and at a suitable distance so that they can grow to their full extent. Okay. So this is one of the key feature of the SRI system of rice intensification. So this is one of the key feature, and these two are the possible benefits of it. Okay, so here we can get the answer as D, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now the main thing is not about solving this question, but in the case of agriculture and in the past 3 or 4 years, the number of questions have been increasing from the agriculture section. So first thing which you have to do is try to find out what are the different methods of farming, what are the different methods of zero budget natural farming or zero tillage farming, this system of rice intensification, okay, or organic farming. Try to see what are they, what are their benefits, why we are going for it. Okay. Now, so here the answer will be D, that is we are going to have 1, 2, 3 an answer. Okay. When we talk about this zero tillage, okay, in zero tillage you can see that in the first line here itself, that we are having keeping the paddy soil moist but not continuously saturated with water. Due to that factor, we can have the growth of aerobic soil organism, and due to this there will be less methane production. Okay, you can see SRI methods have the following benefits, again from the government website itself, from the government recognized PDFs itself. They have given various reports on advantages of SRI. So there was reduce the required seeds for transplanting by 60 to 80%. Okay, so there is massive saving here in case of seed requirement. and reduce irrigation water by 25 to 50%. So even electricity consumption will be lower. The cost of agriculture would also be lower, and hence profitability can be higher. Okay. So these were some of the questions from agriculture section that we have seen today. Okay. I hope this has been helping you to understand that how you can solve the question. Okay. Now, so this will be all for today. We will meet again and then we will discuss some other themes. Not tomorrow, but in the coming weeks. Okay. So thank you everyone. All the best. Thank you.